Now, I did come back out here last night, and I guess I spent a good 2 hours at the model table altogether, and I didn't do a whole lot. A lot of, you might say, pondering and tinkering. And the pondering was, how are we going to be able to do a stress test on our little part here? Now, in a minute, I will put it on the rotator here, and we will stick the macro lens on. Excuse me, and I will show you what I did. But I was thinking, how can I demonstrate how much force it's going to take to pull that apart? And I was thinking, if I just had a strain gauge, and I was thinking of taking my kitchen scale here and making a little tripod affair on it, and hang the part down, tear the scale at 0, and then pull down on the thing until it broke apart. And then I remembered, down in my workshop, I actually had a couple of strain gauges. Now, this big one here, you can't use it. It's designed for something up to 300 kilograms. Well, that's like the average full-size motorcycle. Well, not the Honda Goldwing. It wouldn't weigh a Honda Goldwing or something like that, or maybe a big Harley, but it'll weigh the average full-size motorcycle. So, give you an idea. Now, this one here, on the other hand, I'm thinking might possibly work, and I have not tested it out yet. But I'm pretty sure, well, no, actually I'm not pretty sure. But I think that we can probably make this work. Well, let's test it out. Let's just see how sensitive it is. What does it measure in grams or tenths of a gram, or what will it do? Okay, now you know how I do not like to fake anything. I really don't know what increments this thing will weigh in. This is a 50-gram weight, and it could well be that it won't be sensitive enough to weigh something this light. Okay, I think we can probably hook that in there, and just for the fun of it, we'll see how much does it weigh with this wire on it. Okay, so that it weighs about 51 grams with the wire on it. Now, save our battery here. All right. Press the power, and right now it's set for pounds, so we'll change it. Okay, I'm presuming that's going to be kilograms. Yeah, there's kilograms, so that's like grams. Well, let's see what's going to happen here. I'm hoping it's sensitive enough to weigh this. Okay, 40. What does it say, 40? Or rather, yeah, so it'd be like 40 grams. So it's not very accurate, is it? It's out by about 20%. Now it's up to 80. Let's just zero it again here. Somebody walked by my window and caught my eye, and I lost my train of thought here. Okay. Push the tare. Let's try it again. Okay, it's back to 40. So if we can assume that it's 20% out, we should be able to calculate that in. Now it could be that only on the very light weight it's, I know what I could do. I think I've got another one of these things. Oh, there's enough horsing around here. Okay, I think we can probably use this. No, no, it's down to 35. Oh, back to 40. Okay. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I heard a saying, if somebody wanted to put you down, as I was playing with my Tinker Toys, they would say something to the effect of, small things amuse small minds. Does that mean that lately my mind is becoming smaller? Let's stick on our macro lens here and take a look at this small thing. Okay, I think I've got everything in focus here. Now, you will remember a couple of episodes ago when we had glued this thing up, not the way you see it now, but what we had done is we had taken this piece of photo etch and glued it onto this piece of sprue right here. Well, last night I took another piece of sprue. You can't really see it too good, but underneath there's a little hole like there is right here, so that we can, pull it apart easily. Now, I used extra thin to glue this piece of plastic onto this piece of plastic, and I was extremely careful not to let any of the extra thin wick its way up so that it's going to spoil the fact that we've just got strictly the Revell glue holding the photo etch onto this piece of sprue. Then I thought, no, I'm going to want to be able to pull this piece of photo etch off of this piece of sprue. And how am I going to do it? And first I thought, well, I'll just tie a little thread around here and a little the other end around here and just make a loop, and we can do it that way. Then I realized, well, excuse me, it's going to have a bit of a tearing effect. In other words, the photo etch will bend a little, it'll give a little, and it's going to start to tear its way off, sort of like a kind of a zipper effect. I wanted the pull to be a little bit more even. So then I made up this piece of plastic, and I used CA thin very carefully. I put a little bit of CA thin on our piece of plastic and put it down onto this, and I was very careful that it did not run the CA thin did not run its way over the edge, and and help to glue the photo etch down onto this piece of sprue. Is this getting complicated? Okay, now there was another thing that I had thought. What if, when we put this piece of photo etch down onto the sprue with the Revell glue, and the glue oozed out? So we're just going to lay this on here. What if it came and sort of curled its way around onto the top? Okay, if you were to look at it like this, and we were to do a cross section, and if you were to look at it cross on, the way I want it is like this diagram. But what I was afraid could happen, it would be like this diagram. So I know how some people really hate it when I use my microscope. So I did it off camera. I checked to make sure that nowhere the glue had come up and over and was sort of hooking onto the top of the photo etch and holding it on that way, because that wouldn't be fair. This side here, there was a little bit of a problem around these things, but it hadn't gone over top. But I did take my sharp knife and scrape it off. In other words, what I'm trying to say is I want this test to be as fair as possible, because I like I say, I just want it to be as fair as possible. And really, who cares, right? Anyway, let's get a little string in here, and a little string in the hole that's down here that you can't see, but it is there. And see if we can hook this onto our strain gauge and pull it apart. Now I realize it is not even noon yet. Well, it's 15 minutes to noon. But I have been waiting all week for this. Well, that threw a major monkey wrench into the diet, but it sure tasted good. So I guess about half an hour or so has passed here now. And here's the plan. I have found that this scale is fairly accurate, whenever I've checked it anyway. And I was thinking, why don't we weigh something, create a weight here that's a little heavier, and we'll see how accurate this scale is, because 20% error is actually terrible. A scale like this should be only maybe, excuse me, like 0.5% or something like that. So I'm thinking that this scale is not designed to weigh something light. It's designed to weigh something, well, it's designed to weigh a fish. It's actually a fish scale. And we're trying to weigh a little minnow on it right now. Well, that's not what it's designed to do. It's kind of like trying to make the Revell glue here work on photo etch. Well, that's not what it's designed to do. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some water, and I'm going to, we'll bring it up to 1 kilogram, like 1,000 grams. And then we'll see how accurate this is when we weigh 1,000 grams. So, yeah. I'll move the camera in so you can see it. Okay, let's try not to make a mess. Okay, there it is, dead on. Okay, I have concluded that this thing jumps in weight by 5 grams. Every 5 grams it changes. Anyway, are we still at grams here? All right, and I hope that our little string is not going to slip off of the lip. Oh, here we go. I'm going to have to take the scale out from underneath. Okay, what do we got? Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's disappointing. I didn't realize this scale was so inaccurate. It's about 30% error. 35% error. That's terrible. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Well, really, I guess it's not that important. Okay, it is at 0, and I've double checked our 1,000 gram weight, and it's right. So what do we got here? 685? Now we're at, excuse me, now we're at 690. Okay, so that's 69%. Uh, well, at least it's easy to figure that way. But you know, the good news is that big fish that I caught, it was actually heavier than I thought it was. Now, I just made that up. I haven't been fishing for probably 30, 40 years. Now, I was just thinking here that, I said that whenever I've checked this scale, it's been accurate, but, it's been a long, long time since I've checked it. And I've used it a lot lately. So, okay, we've got a 500, or rather a 50 gram weight here. You know what? Probably work better if I turned it on. Now, I just want to tell you that this is not a reenactment here. This is the real thing. You're seeing it as it's happening. It's not like I already know what's going to happen. I might embarrass myself here, but it's my plan to show it to you anyway, no matter what happens. Well, that's all right. Okay, now here's another 50. That's all right. This is a 20. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need to go any further. If it's this dead on, I think we can trust this scale. Okay. I've CA'd the knots here so that they hopefully won't come loose. And what we got to do now is to figure out how can we put a steady pull down on this. And it has to be steadily increasing, otherwise this thing here is going to sort of time out. I think what it does is it locks, like the idea is you would weigh a fish on the end of it, and after the weight has been found, it locks into that position. So I have to keep the weight changing. At least I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. Okay, a lot depends on the next few minutes here. Now I'm pretty sure we can still read that. Check the monitor. Yeah, no bad reflections or anything. And we're going to use Mr. T's poking device as sort of a handle here. Now what I'm going to try to do is steadily increase the pull until something breaks. Oh my, that's more than I thought. I'm afraid what's going to happen is something's going to break and then this is going to go snapping back up. Maybe I'm going to have to use, I'll hold it like this. Is this still working? Oh my. Well, our Ravel let go. But it was a lot more of a pull than I thought it was going to be. Okay, if we look here, you can sort of see the mirror image where it broke apart. Like this one was here and this one was here. Now, probably you can't see it as well as I can right now, because I got the light a little better, but there is absolutely no Ravel on this photo etch. It is all on the plastic. Anyway, yeah, so the Ravel does stick to brass. It just doesn't stick what you would call really well. I don't know what else I can say here. I'll do the math and see if we can figure out. I haven't been to the computer yet since I shot that scene where I pulled it apart, so I didn't actually notice how high I didn't notice how high the numbers had gone. This is the video frame just before it broke. The next frame is blurred out. So we have to assume that it was 1,485 grams just before it broke. It might have been a smidgen more because I think the meter reads a little bit behind, but let's say 1485. So we do the 1485 times the 131% error correction. It comes out to almost 2,000 grams. Now, for those of you who don't think metric, that's about going on 4.5 pounds. Now, I believe it because I was pulling pretty hard there. In fact, I don't know if I could have pulled a whole lot harder without having to, reposition myself. So anyway, that Revell glue held really good on the brass now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, I think we've beaten this to death, haven't we? Isn't it time now that we actually did something on the hood? Okay, all we have holding this thing from falling off is the original, what you saw me put on yesterday. I want to reinforce this, otherwise it's just too fragile. In fact, this one here almost seems like it might be loose, I'm not sure. So okay, now I know some of you are probably getting really tired of me with doing all this macro lens stuff here, but I enjoy doing it. Why won't that come off of there now? I want to build up a little, you might say, a weld at the base of this thing. And there we go. Okay, I think that's going to really help a lot. Now we'll do the other one. Okay, I'm hoping that's gonna not go wicking out now on that deck. Now folks, it's about 1 minute after 3. I've got to wind this video up. Thanks for watching everybody, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.